Hey everybody, once again. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of how when you marry someone, what it may be man to a man or woman, that's if you're the opposite sex, and that is more in the traditional sense and biblical sense for a man to marry a woman and vice versa for a woman to marry a man. Although things are so screwed up now to the point where there are same-sex marriages which are becoming both more common and more prevalent. But that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. Anyway, it's been said that once you go before a pastor and do your vows, your wedding vows, prior to marrying the person that you decide to tie the knot with, that once you do that, it should be eternal or forever. Now, on the same token, people do usually divorce in the process of marriage. Some nowadays, and due to so much more temptation compared to the pre-social media days, some couples end up divorcing within the same month. I know it's hard to believe, but that's becoming more prevalent as well. Like I was saying, due to more temptation, not only with social media, but with all of these casual dating apps, so to speak. Case in point, Tinder. But okay, am I right or wrong? But and excuse me, I look at it from both this angle and perspective. By it's being said how marriage, once again, is supposed to be for an eternity. It shouldn't having kids as well when another person be for an eternity. Although people, man, it's so ridiculous nowadays to the point where people could end up hooking up. For instance, it could be a case where they may come from a nightclub after meeting each other and socializing with each other, only to go to wherever and do a random hookup, so to speak. If some of you could catch my drift on what I mean by that, only for the lady to announce to the man some months afterwards that she's pregnant. I started to say 6 months pregnant, which is how it usually goes once the woman announces that she's pregnant. Only for the man, or only for the man, for them to have went their separate ways. I'm trying to say right after they may have hooked up, once they may have had a one-night stand, is what I'm trying to say. Because people don't really value long-term relationships like that, even if they're not married, because there are so, otherwise there wouldn't be so many out of wedlock births and so many step parents if things were done in a traditional, more of a traditional manner and in a traditional sense, or according to the Bible, where you're not supposed to have sex until after marriage. Instead, fornication is becoming so prevalent and common in this day and age. Not only that, but it's celebrated more. As a matter of fact, if you look at most of the shows and movies that are advertised on television, they advertise and promote casual sex and casual flings, hookups on a regular basis, to the point where it's almost obsolete not to believe in doing things the old-fashioned traditional way, by marrying first before you have kids, then taking on having kids after you marry. Which brings to mind the old saying that goes, marry before you carry. I mean, once again, am I right or am I not right? But shouldn't having kids when one specific person be sacred, just like marriage is. Even if you're not married to that person, instead of having kids with one person, only to leave that person and have kids by another person after you may have left the first person you may have had your kids by, and on and on. Bringing it or making it where your kids will end up following in your footsteps in most cases once they become adults by having out of the wedlock kids, because that's what you call a generational curse, both a generational curse and a generational cycle. Anyway, I'm going to conclude this video, and I wanted to get all of your input and feedback on whether having kids by someone, even if you're not married to that person, should be just as sacred as being married to a person, and just as eternal as married to being married. With that said, I want you to like the video, share the video, both the video on the channel, comment. Feel free to comment right down below in the comment section. Last but not least, subscribe to the channel as well. And then until next time, be blessed.